Hello, ladies and gentlemen, it's Mike here at Gamefromscratch. Yep, still doing some catch-up from when I was on vacation last week. Some news we got to get through, and today we have a game engine release. This one is Fyrox. This is a Rust-powered game engine. The big thing about this release is this is a 1.0 release. It's been 7 years in development. We're going to jump in, take a quick look at Fyrox itself, and then you can decide if this is what you are looking for. You can see here, we are in one of the samples available. I will show you where you could get this in just a second. This is a Fall Guys type example. Let's go ahead. We'll just run that quickly. You get an idea of the type of game it is. So this is a multiplayer game. I'm going to create a server, and then I'm going to join the server, and then I'm going to start that over again because I did not pick the level. So let's do that again. Start the server. We will pick the Drake level, and we will go ahead and start that. So this is, again, a Fall Guys type platforming game. Full example for doing that. Over there, you see cannons firing from the side. And then various different platforms areas to avoid, and I fell and died. Gives you an idea. That is the kind of game you got. Again, you saw a UI in action there as well. The big thing about Fyrox is it gives you this full Unity-esque editing environment. There are two major game engines when it comes to the land of Rust. One is Bevy, the other is Fyrox. The big thing about Fyrox is it's focused on this beginner-friendly, well-documented UI-based approach. So the editor and the code behind it, they kind of go hand in hand. This would be the easier one to get up and running, and there's a lot of tooling packed away here. So again, you have this editing type environment. It uses a very Godot-esque node system. So you can see over here, everything is made out of nodes. So we got like the start zones over here as an example. Right up there. Inside of them, they've got various different other nodes attached. So I can come up here, I could create a child node and see all the various different things that are available. Physics I can apply. By the way, there is a 2D as well as 3D, and the editor works fully with both. There is a 2D platforming example you can go ahead and get started with. But again, you can see you've got these hierarchy of nodes. Each node over here has properties in turn. So it's not really a component-based engine, but it kind of is, sort of. On top of that, you've also got prefix capability or prefab capability. Like here, these were the cannons you saw in the world. You get an idea of how that is structured. So here you got the top level node named cannon. Inside of that, you have the FBX file that was imported. There you have something called cannon. Here you've got the various different shaders and surfaces attached to this guy and so on. Under that you have a node called shooter. Shooter in turn has a script attached to it called cannon, like so. You can attach various different scripts. These are available in your Rust project at the code side. So for example here, this is the gameplay script controlling that cannon. So you see very simple, straightforward approach. So it is a structure. Various different pieces are exposed out. I don't use Rust, so I can't give you all, it's pretty straightforward to look at this. So you can see that like the animation player that's attached to it, it tries to get a reference to it and then plays animations accordingly. As you can see, if we go on back over here, there is an animation player attached. Again, if you've used Godot, you're going to be immediately comfortable with this, other than, of course, it's Rust instead of C# or GDScript. But you see, nodes are available. This node gives an example of, for example, some of the editing tools that are attached. Here we have the animation editor here for the shooting animation. Very simple. This is just what causes the cannon to rock back when you shoot. So you see over here, I do a preview of it, and there you can see the results of it. You can see that's just the yaw that is being affected. You can keyframe everything, handle it there. So you got a number of tools built in here as well. For example, this one here is the animation tool that's available. Another side of things that we kind of briefly saw earlier on is the UI layer. So here you can see, again, UI, straightforward. It's a selection of nodes for creating the UI. Each one of these things in turn has a node attached to it. And then you have animation players inside here. We also have something called state machines. This is one of the features of this new release. You can see over here the ABSM editor. I forget exactly what that stands for. A binary state machine, an animation bus. I don't know. It's a new state machine system here. You can see in this particular case, as you're handling, so normal animation, then switch to hover, and then switch to over here, we've got click. So that's a state machine being used for handling the animations here. So when you actually went ahead and hovered over these things, so when we went back to the editor, for example, that state machine is what controlled the mouse over. So the graphic effect as you flip through. So you got full animation tools in there as well. There's a lot of tooling packed away behind the scenes here. And this example that we saw, the entirety of this, so this Fall Guys type platformer example, it is all available. The other cool thing about this, you'll notice, I'll get back to it a little bit. When you come here, you go help, you can open up the book. So there is a book that is being kept up to date. And now that they're the 1.0 version, they've actually bumped the book forward to match the 1.0 release, which is nice to see. Otherwise, the 1.0 release doesn't have a lot of really big marquee features, other than, of course, it is a pretty major milestone. So if you want to go ahead and check this one out, what you do is head on over to Fyrox.rs. That's Fyrox.rs. So you can see here some of the top level features here. So you got the full editor, you got hot reloading support, 2D and 3D support, 2D and 3D physics. It is multi-platform, including PC, web, mobile, and so on. There's a new command line interface in this 1.0 release, though, for actually exporting to those platforms, which is nice. Full animation system in there, audio system in there, PBR rendering, UI stuff. We saw a little bit of that in action. This full scene graph you saw on the left-hand side, the node-based driven area, and so on. So that is Fyrox. Again, Fyrox.rs if you want to go ahead and check that one out. This, we have the Fyrox 1.0.0 release. Again, 7 years in the making, so it's been over 7 years in development. This is the first Fyrox 1.0 stable release. In terms of new features here, again, nothing really huge here. Again, there's an export CLI if you want to go ahead and export out instead of having to do it directly from inside of the editor. That functionality is available here as well, by the way. So file, export project, you can export to like web, Android, PC, and so on, all directly from there. Well, now you've got the ability to do that from command line as well. Text trimming, input widget changes, project manager confirmation, some improvements to the animation editor, etc. The new ABSM, so animation blending state machine. That's my fault there. So updates and improvements on that as well, and so on. And then, of course, the book has been updated as well. So this isn't really all that much about the 1.0 release specifically. It's the fact that we were there. We were at a stable 1.0 release. And you always got to applaud open source projects for being brazen enough, for actually having the balls to go ahead and say, yep, 1.0 stable, this is it, go use it in production. Instead of, hiding behind a beta or alpha label forever and ever. I did get 7 years to get here, so Fyrox has been brewing for a very long time. It used to be called Rage 3D, by the way, if you're wondering. In terms of getting going, you notice up here there is this demo projects folders, and you will see there are a variety of them available. I did Fish Folly in this particular case. There's also, again, a 2D platformer, one for blending shapes, an RPG tutorial, something on user interfaces, an FPS tutorial, etc. Tons of stuff to get you up and running. Just go ahead and click there. It will bring you to the GitHub repository for the overarching ones. And then the side ones, such as Fish Folly, which I showed in action earlier on, is available here. If you want to get started with things, this is actually probably how you want to do it. Basically, come on in, go to something like your temp directory, and then clone this repository. So the Fish project right here, and then beside it, also clone the Fyrox project so that you'll have C:/fish something and C:/Fyrox something. Then go into the Fish directory and do either this if you want to run it as a game, or this if you want to go ahead and run it in the editor. And then it will take care of the rest for you. That'll download all the dependencies, it will build Fyrox, and then it'll build the demo project, and you are off and running. So that is how I would recommend getting up and going. Again, the cool thing here is they also do have this book available, and it's pretty comprehensive. So if you want to learn, say, about animation, here's a category on the animation editor, all documented, all kept up to date to the 1.0 release. This is often one of the big failings of open source projects. The writing documentation tends not to be the funnest job, so it gets neglected. They've done a very good job, and one of the other things that's really frustrating about writing documentation is it expires. So that's what's nice about a 1.0 stable release. You can use that as a baseline or a base set for your book, and they have updated their documentation to match that 1.0 release, which is chef's kiss, a very nice thing. Again, this is an open source project. It is available in the Fyrox repository under the Fyrox engine user. You'll notice here it is available under the MIT license, which is quite capable. If you like what they're doing, by the way, do drop them a star. The release is now available, and that's it. Again, Fyrox, again, nice number of demo projects available. GitHub server if you have any questions or comments. Good community behind this one. How many contributors are up there? 82 plus 68. Don't make me do math, even though that should be a pretty 150. Ha! I'm not that useless. So they've got a good number of contributors here. If you're wondering, this of course is a Rust project, 97.6% of Rust, the rest being shaders. So that is the Fyrox game engine. Congratulations team on the 1.0.0 release. Again, nothing really huge in that particular release, but it's nice to get there. And again, it's really nice that they have these demo projects and books. They are current to the 1.0 release. So getting up and learning this guy isn't that hard. So you're interested, want to pick up a 3D Rust-powered game engine with a Unity-like editing environment, this is the only option you should consider. If you're willing more to the code side of things, there are other options out there, but let me know what you think. Fyrox game engine, 1.0 release, what do you think? Let me know. Comments down below. I'll talk to you all later. Goodbye.